claiming to be Marxist. They're coming up with theories and issues, and they're trying to back up what Karl Marx has said. Not because they are Karl Marx, but because they believe in that philosophy, and that theory. So basically the issue of that, the Islamic Renaissance, is about Islamic golden era being the foundation of what later culminated to become the Renaissance of late modernity. I think that is the issue. And on the second issue about having some Muslims that don't believe in Hadith, in a population of over 1 billion Muslims, it is not possible to have a uniformity of that conservative culture of believing in being in a solitary position of believing in something. There are, of course, this likelihood that you cannot generalize everything, because in every general rule there must be an exception. So within the Islamic scholarship, we have our exceptions, people that come up with contentions. But what we have to appreciate is that there is no text in history that went through the kind of scrutiny before authentication like the Hadith.
Exactly this process. Ilm al-Rijal, Ilm al-Hadith.
Every other text, we have empirical researches, so many other things, with so many evidences, people coming up to say, yeah, it's true, some coming to oppose it. But the Islamic text is one text that has to go through rigors of scrutiny before authentication. That is why you have the Asna, you have what do you call the other one? I'm not good in Arabic actually. And then I intend to also respond on the issue of the jihad. The concept of jihad is not about carrying the sword and slaughtering people that don't believe in Islam. The best example is Ghazwat al-Fatih Makkah. If jihad is about cutting the necks and the limbs of people so that whether they trust in Islam or they are sentenced to death, that is a very wrong notion. The concept of jihad is about spreading Islam, spreading the message of Allah, and I think that's the fundamental reason why Prophet Muhammad and all other prophets were sent onto earth. And then another example.
Let me just clarify that point. See, the thing is, it's interesting. Like even Ibn Taymiyyah, a classical scholar, he said, you know, it's better to have a non-Muslim just ruler than the Muslim unjust ruler. So it's not you being Muslim ethnically or religiously. It's having these principles. That's why I extend the definition to be the implementation of peace and justice. Because ideally that can only happen effectively via Islam. But sometimes it doesn't, practically. Yeah? And on the conquest of Mecca, how many people did the Prophet fight in the conquest of Mecca?
He did not. I think some people at the other end of Mecca.
Zero. It was zero basically, yeah? And he walked into Mecca. Where was his head? He was on his mule. He was so humbled by Mecca opening itself to Islam. And that's what we mean by removing the obstacle that prevents peace and justice. Because Mecca was a place of, it was like Western Baghdad under, what's his name? Saddam Hussein. It's worse than Tripoli under Gaddafi. Much worse. Yeah, and the Prophet came in to remove the obstacle to establish peace and justice. That's what we mean by sword. Not this other kind of crazy narrative that we read on Google or Fox News. Yeah.
And my last comment is also on the issue of the jihad. Because if you go back to the history of the conquest of Egypt, you realize that when Amr bin al-As came, the Coptics were in Egypt.
Yeah.
There was an established Christian church. And he did not slaughter the Coptics, nor did he send them out. The jihad is convert people to Islam. Those that did not agree to convert to Islam, allow them to do their religion,
yes,
and enter into a pact of peace with them. There will be another protection of the Islamic ruler. The only thing they will do is that they're going to pay tax.
Well, we all pay taxes, don't
we? So I think that these are just the...
What Saladin did after the conquest of Europe on the best example of jihad.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well done, Sufyan. That's excellent point. Salahuddin, when he took over Palestine, he let the Christians live. And what about the Hindus in India? India was ruled by Muslims. I mean, there's still Hindus today. That is evidence to show that jihad is not about forced conversion. Do you see? I mean, history speaks for itself. The amount of old Christian relics and cathedrals and buildings that we have in the Muslim world, there's so many of them. So yeah, thanks for that point. One more question, we finish?
Okay, one last question. Then we will have the pizza.
Oh, there's pizza here? Yeah. Last question.
Yeah.
So, obviously we've spoken about the Islamic states that were in the past, and we obviously haven't got that at the moment. What do you think is the steps we need to take to possibly...
I don't have all the answers.
No, obviously in your opinion, as individual Muslims.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, right, our role as Muslims in the West is to help the West, because I'm a Westerner, I'm Greek, right, that looks Pakistani, that was born in Britain, yeah? I'm Greek, my dad's a New Age philosopher type. I don't belong to the East in any shape or form. Greece is the foundation of Western, Greeks always say that, isn't it? Give me any word that belongs to a Greek word, yeah? I don't know if you've seen My Greek Fat Wedding film? No, it's an old film, but anyway. But the point is, I am a Westerner, definitely from that perspective, but I'm a Muslim, yeah? Now, what does that mean? That means I have a role to play. And what is that role? That role is that I have to be a beacon of light and show my values to the wider community. Because, we live in an age where it was snowing, where I live in Luton. You don't have neighbours taking care of all their next door neighbours. Just shoveling some snow, for God's sake. You had the other day an old woman dying, she was dead for like 3 weeks. They only knew she was dead because they could smell it. I mean, we shouldn't have this type of community, this kind of excessive, rugged individualism, that we don't have this communitarianism. I think that's where Islam or Muslim, and even other people of faith, could actually articulate a good case for faith in this society. So we should just be good people, right? Follow your values, yeah? Because the biggest thing that we haven't done is actually follow our values, yeah? I'm telling you something, yeah? Bro, put the pizza down. When I talk, I just don't like people interrupting and moving around. So just put it down, put it down. Put the pizza down. Thank you. Good. Now listen, yeah? Muslims, the biggest thing that they face is that they haven't followed their values. Like, for example, take the EDL. EDL are racist. Who believes they're racist? Majority of our consensus, apart from a few sisters, that's fine. So we believe the EDL are racist, okay? Now, what do? We create reaction groups like the Muslim Defense League, the MDL, right? Let me tell you something. And tell you very bravely, it's going to upset you very thoroughly. Muslims are far more racist than the EDL. Trust me, I meet more Muslims than you do. I travel the world. I have empirical evidence. So shut it. Muslims are far more racist than the EDL. Wait, sorry, you can't speak, sister. You had all day to speak. Yeah? And now you speak just because I'm talking about EDL. I went to Pakistan. Kashmiri, part of Pakistan, can't marry a Punjabi, another part of Pakistan. A Sylheti from Bangladesh, North Bangladesh, whatever, can't marry someone from Chittagong, south near Burma. That's their own country. Bengali can't marry, for example, a black person from Africa, Nigerian Muslim. Yeah? You have our communities in our community, yeah? Say it's a Gujarati community, conversions of lots of black people, black man comes into the masjid, I'm a Muslim, been Muslim for 3 years, got my beard, great guy, great values, I want to marry your daughter, heart attack. Yeah? Heart attack. Listen to me carefully. Now this it doesn't belong to Islamic values, but it's our culture. The culture we developed, which is a non-Islamic culture. I'm telling you, there is far more tribalism and racism in our own culture than in the EDL. Trust me, I know, I've been to the countries. I've traveled more than you have because that's what I do. Yeah? And I've seen it. So how do we change? Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ. Indeed, Allah doesn't change the situation of a people until they change فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. What's within themselves. Now I'm not saying, it's all just about your heart and yourself. You have to do some social action as well. But When we see other problems, they're just a mirror of our own problems. The Prophet said, Al-mu'minu mirat al-mu'min. The believer is a mirror of a believer. If you have ketchup in your face, you're not going to wipe the mirror, are you? Wipe all day. You still got the ketchup there, yeah? So you have to wipe yourself. So the point I'm trying to say is we need to start being our values. Stop being victims. Oh, the Zionists and the BBC and this. This is a sick disease that has infiltrated the Muslim community. This disease of victimhood mentality. You tell me one day the Prophet was a victim.